Welcome to the Himalayas. Here in the Himalayas, every sunrise reveals a world that seems impossible. A place where peaks scrape the heavens at over 8,000 meters, where ancient monasteries float in the clouds, where traditions older than time itself still live and breathe. This is a journey through Earth's greatest mountain range, a story of extraordinary places and peaks that have never been conquered, of valleys that bloom with thousands of flowers. The Himalayas stretch across 6 nations, creating a natural barrier between the Indian subcontinent and the Tibetan plateau. It's a place where nature and spirituality intertwine in perfect harmony. Whether you're an experienced mountaineer or a curious traveler, the Himalayas will leave you with memories that will echo through your lifetime. Before we begin our journey, here's a question to test your knowledge. Which peak in the Himalayas is so sacred that no human has ever been allowed to climb it? Share your answer in the comments below. Now, let's begin our journey through these magnificent mountains and discover their most wonderful places. Mount Everest. We begin our journey at the crown of Earth itself, Mount Everest. Standing at 8,848 meters, this colossal peak has captured human imagination since its discovery. As you approach through the Khumbu Valley, Everest first appears as a dark pyramid against the sky, its summit often shrouded in clouds and prayer flags fluttering in the thin air. The mountain's Nepali name, Sagarmatha, means goddess of the sky, while Tibetans call it Chomolungma, mother goddess of the universe. These names reflect the deep reverence local people hold for this magnificent peak. Even from Everest Base Camp at 5,364 meters, the summit still towers more than 3.5 kilometers above you. The journey to base camp itself is an adventure of a lifetime. Following the footsteps of legendary climbers like Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, you'll pass through charming Sherpa villages, cross swaying suspension bridges over deep gorges, and walk beneath fluttering prayer flags. Each step brings you closer to understanding why this mountain holds such power over human imagination. The landscape changes dramatically as you ascend. Pine forests give way to rocky terrain, then to the harsh beauty of the alpine zone. Here, glacier-carved valleys stretch between towering peaks, and the air grows noticeably thinner with each step upward. The famous Khumbu Icefall, a massive glacier that moves several feet each day, creates an ever-changing maze of ice towers and deep crevasses. During spring and autumn, base camp becomes a small city of colorful tents. Climbers from around the world gather here, preparing for their attempt to reach the highest point on Earth. But even if you're not planning to summit, standing at base camp gives you a profound appreciation for those who dare to climb higher. The best times to visit are during the pre-monsoon season, March to May, when rhododendrons bloom in the lower valleys, or post-monsoon, September to November, when clear skies offer the best mountain views. Regardless of when you visit, the sight of Everest will leave you speechless, understanding why it has drawn adventurers for generations. Mount Kailash. From Earth's highest peak, we journey to its most sacred mountain, Mount Kailash. Rising 6,638 meters above sea level, this distinctive peak with its symmetrical sides has never been climbed, out of respect for its profound religious significance. Four religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon, consider Kailash their most sacred mountain. As you first glimpse Kailash, you'll understand why it has captured spiritual imagination for millennia. Its four faces align almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, and its summit resembles a natural pyramid reaching toward heaven. Fresh snow often dusts its dark rock faces, creating striking patterns that seem almost too perfect to be natural. The traditional pilgrimage route around Kailash, known as the Kora, covers 52 kilometers through some of Tibet's most dramatic landscapes. Pilgrims believe that completing this circuit cleanses the sins of a lifetime, while 108 circuits lead to enlightenment. The path takes you through high mountain passes adorned with prayer flags, past clear alpine lakes, and through valleys where rare snow leopards still roam. At the mountain's base lies Lake Manasarovar, one of the highest freshwater lakes in the world. Its crystal-clear waters reflect the surrounding peaks like a natural mirror, creating a scene of perfect tranquility. Hindu texts describe this lake as being created in the mind of Brahma, and its waters are believed to have special healing properties. The journey to Kailash tests both body and spirit. The altitude challenges even experienced trekkers, while the raw beauty of the landscape and its spiritual significance touch something deep within every visitor. Whether you're a pilgrim or a traveler, standing before Kailash helps you understand why ancient texts describe it as the center of the universe. Even today, in our modern world, Mount Kailash remains largely untouched by development. The nearest airport is several days away by car, and facilities in the area are minimal. But this isolation helps preserve the mountain's profound spiritual atmosphere. As you walk the Kora, you'll join pilgrims who have made this journey for thousands of years, each step a meditation in itself. Valley of Flowers. From sacred peaks, we descend to one of nature's most colorful treasures, the Valley of Flowers. This hidden paradise in India's Uttarakhand state stretches for 10 kilometers, cradled between snow-capped peaks and watched over by the magnificent Nanda Devi mountain. UNESCO recognized its unique beauty by declaring it a World Heritage Site. The valley transforms completely with the seasons. After winter snows melt in June, the first hardy flowers begin to appear. By July and August, the valley explodes into a riot of colors. Over 600 species of flowers carpet the landscape in waves of blue, pink, yellow, and white. Rare orchids hide in rocky crevices, while tall cobra lilies stand like sentinels among the blooms. This wasn't always a peaceful sanctuary. Local legend tells of a place called Nandan Kanan, where celestial nymphs gathered flowers. British mountaineer Frank Smythe discovered the modern valley in 1931 when he lost his way and stumbled into this floral paradise. His writings brought the first visitors to this hidden gem. Walking through the valley feels like entering a living painting. Alpine butterflies flutter between blooms, while high above, you might spot Himalayan golden eagles soaring on thermal currents. Parul, or blue sheep, graze on higher slopes, and if you're very lucky, you might glimpse the elusive snow leopard. The trek to reach the valley adds to its mystique. Starting from Govindghat, you'll follow the Pushpawati River through forests of birch and rhododendron. The nearby village of Gangaria serves as base camp, and from here, a steep trail leads to the valley entrance. Every step brings new views and, in season, new flowers to discover. Conservation efforts protect this delicate ecosystem. Visitors can only enter during daylight hours, and camping in the valley is prohibited. These rules help preserve the valley's pristine beauty for future generations. Even in our rapidly changing world, this valley remains a reminder of nature's ability to create perfect beauty. Tiger's Nest Monastery. Clinging to a sheer cliff face 3,120 meters above sea level, the Tiger's Nest Monastery seems to defy gravity itself. This sacred Buddhist site, known locally as Punakha Dzong, appears as if it were painted onto the rock face, a masterpiece of architecture and faith combined. As you first catch sight of it through the mountain mist, you might wonder if your eyes are playing tricks on you. The monastery takes its name from a legend that Guru Rinpoche flew here on the back of a tigress to meditate in the 8th century. He spent 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, and 3 hours in meditation, leaving behind a place of profound spiritual significance. Today, the complex includes 4 main temples and residential shelters, all interconnected by staircases carved into the rock face. The journey to Tiger's Nest is a pilgrimage in itself. Starting from the valley floor, a 2-hour hike takes you through pine forests draped with Spanish moss. Prayer flags flutter between trees, carrying blessings on the mountain breeze. Halfway up, a cafeteria offers welcome rest and your first clear view of the monastery. The final approach reveals the monastery's true magnificence. You'll cross a bridge over a 200-meter deep chasm where a waterfall plunges into sacred pools below. Prayer wheels line the paths, each spin sending prayers into the universe. Inside, golden Buddha statues and ancient paintings tell stories of Buddhist teachings and Bhutanese history. The best time to visit is during spring or autumn, when clear skies offer spectacular views. Morning mist often shrouds the monastery, parting occasionally to reveal this architectural wonder. Each view seems more impressive than the last, making every step of the challenging climb worthwhile. Kanchenjunga, rising 8,586 meters into the sky. Kanchenjunga stands as the world's 3rd highest peak and a guardian of both Nepal and India. Its name means 5 treasures of the Great Snow, referring to its 5 distinct peaks, each one a massive mountain in its own right. This mountain holds special significance for the indigenous Kirat people, who believe it to be the home of their guardian deity. The approach to Kanchenjunga through either Nepal or India reveals some of the most dramatic landscapes in the Himalayas. Dense forests of rhododendron and magnolia give way to alpine meadows, then to the stark beauty of the high mountains. The Kanchenjunga Conservation Area protects a remarkable diversity of life, from red pandas in the lower valleys to snow leopards in the higher reaches. The trek to Kanchenjunga Base Camp is less crowded than Everest, but no less spectacular. Following ancient trading routes, you'll pass through remote villages where traditional life continues much as it has for centuries. Local people welcome visitors with warm smiles and butter tea, sharing stories of their mountain home. Dochula Pass offers perhaps the most spectacular view of Kanchenjunga. At dawn, the first rays of sunlight paint the mountain's massive faces in shades of gold and pink. From here, you can appreciate why early European explorers called this the most beautiful mountain in the world. The mountain's massive bulk creates its own weather systems. Clouds swirl around its peaks, occasionally parting to reveal glaciers that sparkle like diamonds in the sun. These ancient ice rivers have carved deep valleys and continue to feed the rivers that bring life to the regions below. Dhaulagiri. Next, we come to Dhaulagiri, whose name means White Beautiful Mountain in Sanskrit. At 8,167 meters, this dazzling peak rises more dramatically from its surroundings than almost any other mountain on Earth. Its south face soars an incredible 4,000 meters from the Kali Gandaki Gorge, creating one of the most impressive mountain views anywhere. The Poon Hill Trek offers the most accessible views of this magnificent peak. Rising early to reach the viewpoint before dawn, you'll witness one of nature's greatest shows. As the sun rises, it gradually illuminates Dhaulagiri's massive white face, creating a display of light and shadow that photographers dream about. The mountain's isolation and steep faces make it a challenging climb, but the French Pass Trek offers adventurous hikers a chance to experience its grandeur. Following the trail through hidden valleys and past turquoise glacial lakes, each turn reveals new perspectives of this magnificent peak. Ancient glaciers tumble down its flanks, their ice seracs creating natural sculptures that change with the seasons. Local Thakali people have lived in Dhaulagiri's shadow for generations. Their villages, with distinctive flat roofs and intricate wood carvings, offer welcome rest stops along the trekking routes. Traditional hospitality includes plates of dal bhat, lentils and rice, that fuel trekkers for long days on the trail. As the sun sets behind Dhaulagiri's magnificent peak, its shadow stretches across valleys like a giant sundial, marking time just as it has done for millions of years, reminding us that in these mountains, we are merely passing guests in nature's ancient cathedral. Dablam, perhaps the most perfectly formed peak in the Himalayas. Dablam commands attention even in a region of spectacular mountains. Its name means mother's necklace, referring to the long ridges on each side like a mother's arms protecting her child, and the hanging glacier like a traditional double pendant. At 6,812 meters, it may not be the highest peak, but many consider it the most beautiful. From the trail to Everest Base Camp, Dablam dominates the view. Its steep rock faces and hanging glaciers create an ever-changing play of light and shadow. During sunrise and sunset, the mountain seems to glow from within, its snow-covered summit turning golden in the early and late light. Climbers consider Dablam one of the most aesthetically pleasing climbs in the world. Its sharp ridges and steep faces offer challenges that have tested the skills of mountaineers since the first ascent in 1961. The mountain's dramatic form has made it an icon of the Himalayas, featuring on countless photographs and climbing magazines. Shivling. Deep in India's Garhwal Himalayas rises a peak that seems to pierce the heavens. Shivling. Standing 6,543 meters tall, this mountain is named after Lord Shiva's iconic symbol, and its perfect pyramid shape makes it easy to understand why. For Hindu pilgrims and mountaineers alike, Shivling represents the perfect fusion of spiritual significance and natural beauty. The journey to Shivling follows the path to Gangotri, the source of the sacred Ganges River. As you trek through the Gangotri Valley, the mountain gradually reveals itself, each view more impressive than the last. The west face rises nearly 1,500 meters in a single sweep of granite, creating one of the most dramatic mountain faces in the world. Tapovan, a high-altitude meadow at the mountain's base, offers perhaps the finest view of Shivling. Here, holy men have meditated for centuries, drawn by the mountain's spiritual power. During summer months, the meadow blooms with tiny alpine flowers, creating a colorful carpet beneath the towering peak. The mountain changes character with the seasons and time of day. Dawn light paints its east face golden, while sunset transforms the west face into a wall of fire. After fresh snowfall, the mountain appears pure white, living up to its other name, the Matterhorn of India. Nanga Parbat. Moving westward, we encounter Nanga Parbat, the naked mountain, rising an incredible 8,126 meters into the sky. This massive peak commands respect not only for its height, but for its spectacular rise from surrounding terrain. The Rupal face, its south side, soars an astonishing 4,600 meters from base to summit, the highest mountain face on Earth. The journey to Fairy Meadows, perhaps the most beautiful base camp in the world, offers unparalleled views of the mountain. This lush green plateau sits beneath Nanga Parbat's north face, surrounded by ancient pine forests. Here, wildflowers carpet the ground in summer, while the massive peak towers above, its glaciers gleaming in the sun. Local Balti people have lived in Nanga Parbat's shadow for generations. Their villages, with traditional stone houses and terraced fields, seem tiny beneath the mountain's enormous bulk. Yet they've adapted perfectly to life in this dramatic landscape, maintaining ancient traditions while welcoming visitors from around the world. The mountain creates its own weather, much like a sea anchor gathering clouds. One moment it stands clear against blue skies, the next it disappears behind swirling clouds. These rapid changes remind visitors of the mountain's power and unpredictability. Rakaposhi. Further north in Pakistan's Hunza Valley stands Rakaposhi, whose name means shining wall in the local language. At 7,788 meters, it might not be the highest peak in the region, but its rise from the valley floor is simply spectacular. The mountain rises over 5,800 meters above the Hunza River, creating one of the most dramatic views in the Karakoram range. The Hunza Valley offers the most accessible views of this magnificent peak. From the ancient capital of Karimabad, Rakaposhi appears as a perfect pyramid, its glaciers catching the light like mirrors. Early morning views often show the mountain floating above a sea of clouds, its summit glowing pink in the dawn light. Traditional villages dot the landscape beneath Rakaposhi's towering faces. Their terraced fields, carefully built over generations, create a patchwork of green beneath the mountain's white crown. In spring, apricot blossoms create a pink carpet below the snow-covered peak, offering one of the most beautiful contrasts in nature. Cho Oyu. Standing on the Nepal-Tibet border, Cho Oyu reaches 8,201 meters into the sky, making it the sixth highest mountain in the world. Its Tibetan name means turquoise goddess, and on clear days, the ice-covered summit indeed takes on a bluish tinge. Despite its great height, it's considered the most accessible of the world's 14 8,000-meter peaks. The approach through the Nangpa Valley reveals the mountain's massive bulk gradually. Prayer flags flutter across high passes, while yak caravans still ply ancient trading routes below the peak. The mountain's relatively gentle slopes belie its great height, creating an illusion of accessibility that has drawn climbers for generations. Local Sherpa villages in the region maintain centuries-old traditions. Monasteries ring their bells at dawn and dusk, while the scent of juniper incense drifts on the mountain breeze. These communities have long served as guardians of the high passes and keepers of mountain traditions. Punakha Dzong. From soaring peaks, we descend to one of the most beautiful buildings in the Himalayas, Punakha Dzong. Known as the Palace of Great Happiness, this massive fortress monastery stands at the confluence of two rivers, its white walls rising above rapids like a vision from ancient times. The building's location was chosen according to ancient prophecy, and its construction demonstrates the finest elements of Bhutanese architecture. Built in 1637, the Dzong has witnessed centuries of Bhutanese history. Its massive courtyard can hold 6,000 people, while intricate murals and wood carvings tell stories of Buddhist teachings and historical events. Through the seasons, Jacaranda trees bloom in the courtyards, their purple flowers contrasting beautifully with the white walls. The Dzong takes on different characters throughout the day. Morning light catches the gold roofs, making them gleam like beacons. At sunset, the whole building seems to glow from within, its reflection shimmering in the rivers below. Even today, it serves as both an administrative center and a monastery, keeping ancient traditions alive in the modern world. Dochula Pass. At 3,088 meters above sea level, Dochula Pass offers one of the most stunning panoramas in the eastern Himalayas. Here, 108 chortens, memorial stupas, stand in silent tribute against a backdrop of snow-capped peaks. On clear winter mornings, the entire eastern Himalayan range stretches before you, each peak catching the dawn light like diamonds. The chortens themselves tell a story of devotion and remembrance. Built in 2004 to honor Bhutanese soldiers, their perfect alignment and traditional architecture showcase the best of Bhutanese craftsmanship. Prayer flags dance in the mountain breeze, carrying prayers and blessings across the valleys below. The pass changes character with the seasons. Spring brings rhododendrons in full bloom, their red and pink flowers creating a colorful carpet beneath the snow-capped peaks. In winter, mist often shrouds the pass, parting occasionally to reveal the chortens dusted with snow, creating an almost mystical atmosphere. Gangotri Glacier. At last, we journey to the source of India's most sacred river, the Gangotri Glacier. This massive river of ice stretches 30 kilometers through a valley of granite walls, feeding the mighty Ganges River. For Hindu pilgrims, this is one of the most sacred places on earth, where the goddess Ganga first descended from heaven. The trek to Gaumukh, the glacier's snout, follows ancient pilgrimage routes. As you climb higher, the vegetation gradually thins until you reach a world of rock and ice. The glacier's surface is a maze of crevasses and ice formations, each sculpted by wind and sun into natural artwork. The sound of the glacier is unlike anything else. Deep cracking noises echo off valley walls as the ice slowly moves downhill. Meltwater streams emerge from blue ice caves, beginning their long journey to the plains below. Standing here, you understand why ancient texts describe this as the abode of gods. As our journey through the Himalayas comes to an end, we've only scratched the surface of what these magnificent mountains offer. Whether you seek adventure, spiritual enlightenment, or simply want to witness some of Earth's most spectacular scenery, these mountains have something to offer everyone. They remind us that some places on our planet still hold mysteries and wonders waiting to be discovered. What was your favorite destination from our journey? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow travel enthusiasts. Until next time, keep exploring.